The fuck? Did my fucking mic unplug itself? Yeah, son, how'd you manage that? The fuck? Did my fucking mic unplug itself? Yeah, son, how'd you manage that? The fuck? Okay. Hopefully this works. I did not notice that my freaking mic was legit unplugged. That's actually peak weird. Testing, testing. One, two, three. The fuck? Okay. Hopefully this works. I did not notice that my freaking mic was legit. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's working. Oh man, that was weird. My mic was just unplugged. Anyway. No, I don't want that on. Whew. God damn it. But this is just a Starward. It shouldn't be that bad. Let me check sound one more time. Let's cook with gas, let's cook with gas.
忘却の庭に
So kind of annoyed that I have to keep starting off at MOC 10, but alright. This is fine. I don't want this to be so loud that I can't hear myself think. I mean, it doesn't really matter what I pick here. We'll run this. And... I'm trying not to use anything that's massively overkill, but that's going to be kind of impossible with the way my account's set up now. It was kind of actually impossible. I don't think there's a way for me to not overkill. Yeah, we'll just do this.
手強い相手です。まっ万全な体制で臨みましょう。
Alright.
砥石にしてやろう。千夜刃をなす。終わりか。
It'd be real nice if I could take a turn. Got all this shit going on over here.
前
Sure. You might have to just hold.
その身に煉獄を
I get my better judgment.
アッキは俺様だけで十分だ。
ストライクエア。この明かりエクスカイバ
起きよエヌマエリス。ふんきょ
ー遅い。
無限の剣塚万死この身を焼き入れん。
死は人の定め。みんなを守って。
必ず
まさに砂漠のオアシスよ。
前。この明かりをエクスカイバ
分析したが
ー。実報に光。
侮れ。コンサートスタート。非か後を残さ
基地性交渉。
ず危険なリズム。
邪魔する気。はっ。
いける。
反則じゃさらばじゃ。ユニゾンが響く。今宵星々の反響。
人は天この札で書店を見尽くさん。
行こう狐先生。
Oh shit.
掟に従いわらわが裁く。
幸があらんことを承服。
反則じゃ。
あら残念。大凶よ。
積んだな。行こう掟に従い
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait for
わら
that.
わが裁く。
Okay. Oh shit. I haven't seen this fella in a minute. Interesting. Curious. Very curious. We'll go one. I want to go max strength. That's the thing, I can't really avoid what strength I go in because I can't fucking I go on toggle. I go on toggle. I have a default into my swords though when she comes out. I was just making sure.
気をつけてください。先を照らして
いい子に
気配を
して
感じます。
起きて。
砥石にし千夜刃をなす。
大丈夫。夜が来た。おやすみ。さよなら。お待たせしないように。今度お返ししてあげる。
終わりか。
死よ、守れ。このかすか雲を払って晴れ渡る空は。今度お返ししてあげる。
その身に煉獄を。
There is effectively no way to freaking
神
avoid
聖を
overkill at this point.
起きて。死よ、守れ。朽ち果てて。
無限の剣塚。その身に煉獄を。
ミラー、日向ぼっこしましょう。
Oh. Well, damn.
どう料理するかはあんたが決めて。
正面突破か。めくりましょう。永遠。
旅立ちましょう。軍勢へ。
万丈の駒となれ。
これはいけそうか。
結末へ。
いける。
星々よ、きらめいて。
これが七死人よ。
Me.
私たちが開拓よ。
Lucky.
長い夜を照らす。夜明けに向かって今度は一人もっと遠くへ。
チェックメイトだ。
夜明けに向かってもっと遠くへ。援護するわ。私たちが開拓よ。長い夜を照らす。
記憶は流れ星を待ってる。愛で私を心に刻んで。世界を望み通りに。
夜明けに向かって私たちが開拓よ。長い夜を照らす。
今を永遠に。敗者はチェックメイトだ。
もっと遠くへ。夜明けに向かって
瞬き禁止よ。抱擁、星々に届いて。
もっと遠くへ。
愛で憎しみを断ちましょう。瞬き禁止よ。共に愛の約束を果たしましょう。
夜明けに向かって
決戦だ。
もっと遠くへ。
Oh, that's fine.
私たちが開拓よ。長い夜を照らす。
What a weird switch up. We'll go with what works first. We know works. I feel like here I should probably go with this. I think that makes the most sense.
金石の意志暗殺の
正面と
旅立ちましょう。援護するわ。
盤上の駒となれ。
日天地を支える。希望は消えない。竜の方向。竜よ、不朽不滅をもって発光をかける。
夜明けに向かって私たちが開拓よ。
That's real. I think they brought back the freaking dinosaur. Weird.
長い夜を照らす。
奮闘は僕の手に。さあ切り合え。
そう簡単には止まらないから。
敗者はチェックメイトだ。
もっと遠くへ。夜明けに向かってもっと遠くへ。
求めるものを
最初の一歩。
明青瞳に
これが夜明けに向かって私たちが開拓よ。
長い夜を照らす。
この身をもってあなたを守り導こう。
もっと遠くへ。軍勢へ。
黒と白だけでは退屈だ。
私たちが開拓よ。
長い夜を照らす。
決戦だ。
消滅開始。
今度は一人夜明けに向かって
守ることは俺の責任。希望は消えない。
敗者はチェックメイトだ。
もっと遠くへ。夜明けに向かって
竜よ、不朽不滅をもって発光をかける。
もっと遠くへ。
最初の一歩。
私たちが開拓よ。
長い夜を照らす。
明青瞳に
これが夜明けに向かって
運動は僕の手に突撃せよ。
希望は消えない。セカンドギアアクション1実行。
援護するわ。
呼ぶ声がする。最初の一歩、最初の一歩。
Might not have enough damage to zero cycle because this fucking Sunday, bro. God damn it.
長い夜を照らす。
供養され。この身をもってあなたを
Not even joking.
導こう。
もっと遠くへ。夜明けに向かって
敗者チェックメイトだ。
Unless.
もっと遠くへ。
Unless. Unless. Oh shit, even with the Sunday weighing the team down, Cerebral for the W. Let's go. Easy, 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 easy.
長い夜を照らす。
Bye bye.
失敗。
Bye bye.
対処法を考えよう。
いい子にしてね。めくりましょう。永
See
遠の
how
1ペ
this
ージよ。
goes. Oh. 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 Whoa, 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 what the fuck is this? Anti-chrono res and anti-physical? What? How much shill can we possibly get for Silver Brick, bro?
起きて。
How much more?
大丈夫。
When is it enough, Boyle? When is it enough? I need to know.
危険なリズム。
Because this shit is crazy.
こんなもんか。頼むぞ。
私ので星々よ。きらめいて。いい楽しんで。この歌声で全てが共鳴する。今宵星々の反響。記憶は流れ星を待ってる。愛で私を心に刻んで。歳月よ、夜を見守って。大正夜が来た。おやすみ。
俺を信じ不可能はない。
瞬き禁止よ。共に愛の約束を果たしましょう。怪物の結末を書き換えましょう。
Jesus Christ.
起きて。今を永遠に。
俺が維新伝心か。結末を変える。
愛で憎しみを断ちましょう。汚い掃除パワーを補強じゃ。
Fucked up my whole flow. Well, to be fair, I fucked myself. That's cool.
これが答えよ。もっとね。瞬き禁止よ。怪物の結末を書き換えましょう。さよなら。システム
俺がやる。
Oh, it's actually pretty good damage. Coloring shock.
今を永遠に。
Oh, because they have the damage reduction. Yeah, that's why. Oh, the damage is kind of good.
お続きは楽しんで。
That seems suspicious.
瞬き禁止よ。愛で憎しみを断ちましょう。起きて。大正夜が来た。おやすみ。掃除中じゃぞ。さよなら。争いな。
焦るな。
こ
I don't know if I'll be able to zero. I mean, I can zero cycle this, but I don't know if I'm able to do it first. I can't remember what my rotation is.
もっとね起きて
俺をし不可能はない
さざ波今を永遠に
これが意志物語を紡ぐ
怪物の結末を書き換えましょう瞬き禁止よ愛で憎しみを断ちましょう邪魔をするな怪物の結末を書き換えましょう汚れ確認全体掃除モードこれが答えよ
Yeah, I fucked up my rotation.
掃除パワーを補強だ夢が楽しんでさよなら大丈夫夜が来たしおやすみ起きて
Yeah, the Robin is the Robin is a placeholder, bro. It's a placeholder. It is not going to be some long-term thing.
おふざけもっとね瞬き禁止よ愛で憎しみを断ちましょう瞬き禁止よ怪物の結末を書き換えましょうさよなら掃除開始じゃ守れなかったまだ手放したくない大掃除セット今を永遠に争いなんて消えるはっ
But yeah, this should have been a zero cycle, but I fucked my rotation up. It's weird when they keep changing the HP pools and the enemy pools, like your rotations have to change with it. And I didn't change it, so it is what it is.
分析したが
とどまれ
こやつ
Probably figure it
全
out
て触りなし
today if I felt like it, but I don't think it
後を
matters.
残さ
Time is just 7:30.
ずじゃ
I don't want to sit here wasting my time trying to fucking zero cycle when it honestly doesn't matter.
千夜刃をなす君らは生と死君らに選ぶ余地はない
人はこの札で書店を見尽くさん行こう狐先生掟に従いわらわが裁くあら残念大凶よ
One,
積んだな
two,
ピンク髪じゃぞ
alright.
さらばじゃ幸があらんことを承服反則じゃ
無限の剣塚
行こう掟に従いわらわが裁く吉星交渉
弔ってやる
これが運命じゃ運一層お仕置きじゃ
マスティケーション開始
あら残念大凶よ積んだな
群れ通過
反則じゃさらばじゃ札が君の不幸を告げている
万死をこの身を焼き入れん無限の剣塚その身に煉獄を始めよう君らは生と死君らに選ぶ余地はない
幸があらんことを承服反則じゃ
バイオマス調整中無限の剣塚
行こう掟に従いわらわが裁くこれが運命
Still not fucking dead. God
人
damn.
はこの札で書店を見尽くさん
Well, not him, but these damn
あら
dogs.
残念大凶よ積んだな
捕食実行バイト万死この身を焼き入れんミューテーション
マスコット トではお仕置きじゃ。
Oh, tankers in my fucking birthday video. What the hell? Oh, there's not zero cycle in this one either.
痛い目に遭い
I
たいの
completely underestimated how much freaking
君らは
HP
この
this
杖
thing
とし君らに選ぶ余地はない抜かれた剣無限の
I have
剣
to settle for a poor man's two
幸
cycle.
があらんことを承服反則じゃ。
For the sake of my,
邪魔する
my
気
food
また邪運一掃
and my sanity. If I sit here
そ
trying
の
to
身
waste
に
my
煉
time
獄
zero cycling
万死をこの身を焼き入れん
さらばじゃ。
while I'm on my own peaceful path.
行こう掟に従いわらわが裁く。
無限の剣塚その身に煉獄を
あら残念大凶よ。積んだな。
Dude, this dude is way tankier than I thought. What the fuck?
君らは個性とし君らに選ぶ余地はない
札が君の不幸を吉星交渉。
I don't even know what the I don't even want to know what the freaking
お仕置きじゃ。
increase
本州と決別
in in HP is
幸があらん
if they were gonna do some shit like this.
反則
That's
じゃ。
weird. I thought this was gonna be an easy one cycle clap, regardless of I was crashing up or not.
邪魔する。人は天この札で書店を見尽くさん。あら残念
Curious.
大凶よ。積んだな。
最終停止
Well, now I'm freaking I'm perplexed. I don't think that should have been that much of a pain in the ass. So now I'm about to try something else instead. But I think I had the same problem when I was attempting to
ひどい雨
do this before.
とどまれ
ほとばしい過去の伝説
MOC 12 stage 2 or stage
砥石にしてやろう
3? Stage 2, I think anything that has pom-pom in it is just going to be by default harder because you're literally having to deal with that stupid ass elation mechanic. And the worst part is if you decided like, oh, I'm going to not pull for shield and not pull for super, they literally have an enemy that has freaking physical hurts. I literally could not believe it.
バレたか。
大事始めよう退け無限の剣塚
涙雨ひっふっ触れては触れる
もうギブアップ。
These guys are tanky, bro.
ほらいった。
That's alarming.
その身に煉獄を
Genuinely alarming.
引導を渡す
Oh yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Wait a second. These guys are genuinely tanky as shit. That's weird. That's really weird. I wasn't expecting these guys to be this tanky. I might have to freaking sit down later and figure out what the hell the deal is over here. This is weird. Usually, I mean, granted, I am using a bunch of E0 DPS, but I'm using an E2 amplifier, so it shouldn't really matter.
砥石にしてやろうせいや刃をなす終わりか
Like, this isn't hard, it's just like It feels like this is just a damage check.
ストライクエ
アッキは俺様だけで十分だ。
ア前この明かりは星の X カリバー。
起きよ N マンエリシ。終わりか。無限の剣塚。
They got hit with a wombo combo and they what?
これでさえその身に連合。
Yeah, these guys are built different. I'm not gonna lie.
終わりか。万死をこの身を焼き入れん。
聖剣解放。よくも
無限の剣塚。
決める。ストライクエア。この明かり X カリバー。
マスティケーション開始。コマンドコビ。
天の光よ。その身に煉獄を。まさに砂漠のオアシス。
Well, it looks like your boy is gonna have to do this shit
万死をこの身を
offline to
焼
fucking
き入れ
to
ん。
figure this nonsense out.
起きよ N マンエリシ。アッキは俺様だけで十分だ。
捕食実行マイトミューテーション。
前この明かり X カリバー。遅い。
その身に煉獄を。
Yeah, these guys are legit not dying. I might actually have to freaking switch teams.
捕食準備。
Yeah, I might have to switch teams. I might have to use Himiko on this side instead. My mono rim team can stay there. I know I can zero cycle that later. That was just a matter of me not doing things, doing my rotations correctly. But yeah, this is a bit excessive in terms of HP flow.
どう料理するか
It's not hard. It's just annoying.
正面突破。
旅立ちましょう。偶星へ。
Obviously, once we get Sumo on me, none of this shit will matter regardless. A class across the board.
天地を支える
But I'd rather not have to freaking
竜
pull her
不
out
朽不滅をもって
to
発
zero
光をか
cycle
ける
us.
もっと遠くへ。私たちが開拓よ。
This is the this stuff here though is the reason why I'm probably gonna get E2 Nihilux because I need like a higher level E. I'm gonna be getting E1.
さあ、
I'm getting E1
チェックメイトだ。
Evanesha and I might get E1 Yellow as well.
もっと遠くへ。
Because I feel like just running
夜明けに向かって。
E0 DPS
呼
is
ぶ
not
声がする
cutting it
最
anymore.
初の一歩明青瞳
これが七し。もっと遠くへ。私たちが開拓よ。
Like this feels significantly easier and my amplifiers are actually worse.
長い夜を照らす。
この身をもってあなたを守り導こう
夜明けに向かって。
Yeah, like that
マス
felt
ティケ
way
ーショ
easier.
ン開始。群れ通過。
今度は一人じゃ。もっと遠くへ。夜明けに向かって。私たちが開拓よ。
長い夜を照らす 違う力だ竜よ不朽不滅をもって発光をかける
もっと遠くへ
供養され
夜明けに向かって
Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like you basically gotta have some E2 DPSs to handle this shit.
覚悟するといい
Or it's just no es bueno.
私たちが開拓よ
I mean, E1 Yao Guang is just looking good in general. Just for that elation.
長い夜を照らす
敗者はチェックメイトだ
That's why I was considering getting E1 Yao Guang, get E1 Evanesha,
突撃せよ
probably get E2
守ることは俺の
Evanesha.
消えない
これが七死人よ偶星
茨を越え最初の一歩最初の一歩明星瞳に
今度は夜明けに向かって
I don't think this is
私
gonna
たちが
kill,
開拓よ
but it'll be close. I gotta frickin' I have to close the gap.
長い夜を照らす
My amplifiers. I basically have two very, very
も
powerful
っと遠くへ
amplifiers in Cyrene and Morinak's Blade, but this Sunday is actively holding my team back at
敗
this
者
point,
はチェ
so
ックメ
he's
イト
gonna
だ
have to go.
夜明けに向かってもっと遠くへ
Legitimately, if I had Sumero there as opposed to him, that'd be an easy zero cycle.
竜
It is
不
not even
朽
a
不
question
滅をもっ
about
て発光をかける
the easiest zero cycle.
夜明けに向かって
呼ぶ声がする供養されこの身をもあなたを守り導こ
もっと遠くへ
最終停止
Okay, so no, I would agree with that. I would say that it's near. It's obviously it's not. It's not actually there, but yeah, it is comparable. I would also just say that generally having E1 will be greater utility-wise if you own. I mean, if you have your Evanesha, if you decide you want to go for the Adventuring Wave Flare, Super Wolf. I mean, and then there's also going to be Pearl. I mean, it's just like it's a multi-purpose E1 for all Elation characters moving forward. So having the E1 is definitely like, yeah, it's just a good power boost to have. E2 for Evanesha and Yao Guang. Yao Guang especially, I don't think it's that really necessary. It's more like a win more sort of Eidolon. And Evanesha feels like more of a win more Eidolon as well. But I'm probably going to get E1 Evanesha, E1 Yao Guang, and E2 Eidolons. Hopefully she's a good sub DPS. And I'll obviously have to go. So I'm going to stop here just because I'm not going to sit here and sit here and try to skill cycle this because it's not really right. But I am intrigued by this because I thought this was going to be easier than this ended up being. Obviously, 2 cycles or 3 cycles, whatever it is, like it's not that bad. But me, I prefer to have 1 cycle. So I'll sit down later and I'll figure this out. I know that I'll get this rotation sorted out. Once we get that rotation sorted out, that's going to be a 0 cycle. If I get, but when I get Sumero, if I run this back, that'll be a 0 cycle. To be honest, I could probably get a 0 cycle now. I would just have to swap out Sunday, probably for like Ruan May, because she has better amplification abilities than Sunday. And the first team, I don't actually know. gonna try this real quick.
手強い相手です。まず
風をくれて
万全の体制で臨みましょう。
If you're going into Civil War for the long haul, I would definitely get that EP. That shit is nasty. Although, of course, I don't.
まさに砂漠の王子
I
ですよ
don't not as a character. I just don't like the.
トライクエ
秋は俺様だけで十分だ。起きよ N マンエリス。
ア必ずや勝利を前へ。
その身に煉獄を。
この明かりで複数
Might be unable to
ハイバー。
拠点の鎖よ。無限の剣塚。
みんなを守って。
Yeah, this is awkward.
万
Insanely
死この身を焼き入れん。終わりその身に煉獄を。
指示をマスター政権解放。よくもストライクエア。この明かりを複数ハイバー。
起きよエア N マンエリス。無限の剣塚。
アクションは実行。
必ず
まさに砂漠のオアシスよ
秋は俺様だけで十分だ。
政権解放。
万死この身を焼き入れん。その身に煉獄を。天の鎖よ。無限の剣塚。
セカンドギア敵消滅開始。
指示を前へ。ストライクエア。遅いこの明かりで複数ハイバー。
その身に煉獄を。起きよ N マンエリス。万死この
That
身
actually
を
might be
焼き入
doable
れん。
some stainless.
無限の剣塚。
I wouldn't be surprised if I was able to figure that out some stainless. Although it would be painful.
その身に煉獄を。
協定採択焦土作戦実行。
万死この身を焼き入れん。
また足手まといにみんなを守って。
アクション2実行。アクション1実行。
必ずや政権解放。
秋は俺様だけで十分だ。
前へ。
無限の剣塚。
この明かりで複数ハイバー。
起きよ N マン。
It's actually quite manageable at E0
その
too.
身に煉獄を。万死この身を焼き入れん。
失敗。
I think some stainless that would be an easy clap. I mean, this is the reason why I'm annoyed. So, one of the reasons why I was looking for Aglaya for the rerun was because I basically was going to have her as being a sort of backup DPS for me. But these developers thought it'd be funny to rerun Tyson. Where the hell is the list? I guess I'm just going to say the name. But yeah, I want to finish the. I basically want to finish the Remembrance collection. I'm just gonna own all of them. I really want this E1 Aglaya. I think that this character is going to bounce back with the existence of Sumero, and I think that she has good value just for what I'm trying to do, which is basically have a bunch of DPS that specialize at different things. And one thing that I'm missing right now, it feels like, is just having a really, really really fast team. And I think that if I were to pair this Aglaya with Sumero, that would fulfill those conditions for me. I mean, I can get a pretty fast setup going with my Cyrene and my E9, but E9 herself is not like a hyper speed sort of character. She is by default slow. She just acts out of her turn a lot. But I need a team that actually is like genuinely fucking fast. And like that's their whole thing. And I don't have a team for that, really. Unfortunately. So that's the reason why I want the E1 Aglaya. But I don't know when they're going to rerun her. They could rerun her next version. It could be the version after that. Who knows? But I was very disappointed when I saw the rerun and I saw Hyacinth for the 4th time since her release. Like, she dropped and you gave her 3 reruns. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I guess that's the way it is. Once Sumero comes out, I'm going to get her to E2. Should be pretty easy clap on, well, we'll say pretty easy clap on effectively everything past that point. But I still do need to finish up my Elation team because I got really unlucky with Evanesha. Wasn't able to get her E1. I tried to get E1 on Yao Guang twice and failed twice. So, gonna have to finish that up, wait for Nihilux, get her, get Pearl, and then also get E1 Aglaya. And hopefully there's nothing else that comes out that boosts my numbers. But we'll see. This was pretty straightforward, but I don't particularly care for the HP inflation on that 3rd stage. That's very annoying. But I can't really be surprised given the fact that they're going to be releasing a unit as broken as Robin Summeretto in the game. So it is. I will try to do it 0 cycle sustainless on my own time. Aglaya, Evernight, Robin, and Cyrene. I wouldn't use Evernight. If I were to use Aglaya Hyper Carry, obviously this is just a this is not, I'm not able to freaking visualize this perfectly. Pretend like this is a flyer. What I would do is that if I was doing modern day Aglaya team, and I'm talking about specifically if you have to split, I would do this. Aglaya at the 1, Sunday, because Sunday should be getting Nova Flared. Then you have her sister, his sister, sorry, in her new form, and then you have Wolfo. This would be nasty as shit. This is just unlimited funneling. You get funneling from Sunday and advances. You get funneling from Robin and advances, and you get funneling from Wolfo. And one of the things that people forget about is Quovo's E1, which gives you 12% speed. So you would have 28% speed on Robin because her Sig gives you 20%. Then you get an additional 8% off the planar. Then you would just have 12% default off of Quovo without even needing to have Messenger. That's 40% speed. On top of having 2 action advancers and 3 energy funnels. That would put Aglaya over the top. Like without even needing Cyrene. If you put Cyrene in here, I mean it's overkill. That's deleting everything. Especially if you have an E2 Cyrene. If you put E2 freaking Sumero on there, I mean, what are we even talking about? Like, that blows up 90% of the content in the game. I mean, you could do that if you wanted to run sustainless. I'm just saying that if you were trying to do specifically for energy funneling purposes, I would run. I mean, you could either run. If basically you could run, you would have to run Sumero and Wobo here. But whether or not you run Cyrene here, if you have Cyrene, or if you're going to run Sunday, is kind of going to be up to whether or not you own them or how you want to use them. I think that once Sunday becomes Nova Flared, there's not even a question about it. You would just be using, you would just use Sunday there. You just use Sunday, use Sumero, use Wobo, and that's enough for a client. Using E2 Cyrene would be overkill. You would have Cyrene, have her put somewhere else. And that would be your Goliath right there. That's the reason I really do want E. I'm not, like, I didn't just throw, oh, I'm going to pull E1 of Goliath on rerun for, like, shits and gigs. I'm dead serious. I want that character. Because, like I said, that she has one thing that the rest of my units don't have, and that is a high level of speed. And just, you can run people over doing, run content over doing shit like that. Yeah, for sure. Although, I mean, they made Sumero too strong, but I don't care. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not surprised at this point. I was joking when I said they were going to make a 5-star Asta. I said, they make a 5-star Asta, I mean, like, that's deleting, like, that's going to be super broken. That's deleting everything. And then the developers, I guess they heard me and they said, oh, you want 5-star Asta? Bet. And, you know, here we are, I guess. I don't know what compelled them to do this aside from money, but I mean, that's where we're at. So what I'm looking at team-wise, I'm looking at E1 Aglaya, Sunday, Sumero, Wobo. For my Himeno, I mean, I can either run Cyrene here, or, I mean, Ceredra stays here. I don't care what support comes out. Ceredra stays here. I love Ceredra with Himeno. Like, this shit is, like, OG. But we could use any quality amplifier here. I mean, you could use Cyrene here. You use Moranax Blade here. I mean, you basically use whatever you want there, and then the Don Hung just stays there. We still have access to our Mono Rim, obviously. We can pull that out whenever we want. And then we'll also still have Elation, which is not built out yet because they're taking forever to drop the remainder of those characters. But gonna get the Pearl, gonna get the Nihilux so that I have Mono Elation. So effectively, I'll have Mono Elation, Mono Rem. I'll also have Rem split because I can use Evernight and Cyrene as DPSs with RMC, with Sumero in a consolidated team there. The Moranax Blade is only there as he's just there to hold. You can also run Moranax Blade as a main DPS with Sumero if that's something that people are interested in. Unfortunately, in this scenario, if you have like Fei Xiao or something, I mean, she's basically going to be sub DPS. But there's a lot of things that I could do if they were to add that E1 Aglaya in there. I would basically have about 6 possible fully functioning teams. I just need that Sumero and I need that Aglaya. Do you think she's better than she's better than everybody? Sumero is literally better than everybody. And you know how serious I have to be saying that because I'm the biggest Cyrene Blazer in this fucking game. She's better than everybody. Better than M-Blade, better than Cyrene. So this is the thing that's funny. The only place The only place that I could see where Cyrene would be beyond Sumero is at E6. At E6 to E6, Cyrene is probably better. E6 to E6, I think that Cyrene might be the best amplifier in the entire game from now until end of service. But if we're talking E0 to E0, Sumero is better. If we're talking E1 to E1, Sumero is still better. If we're talking E2 to E2, it's closer, but I still say Sumero is better. So the same thing applies to Emblade. Literally, I'm not joking, the Sumero is the best in the game until maybe E6. Because look at this E6 on Cyrene. Like, this shit's broken. Advances your entire team's action by 100%. So you basically get a Robin ult, the OG Robin ult in her freaking ultimate. Reduces everybody's defense by 20%. And then if you do this 2 times or more, everybody's action advances by 24%, which is a built-in DDD. Like, that's broken. So at E6 to E6, Cyrene might be better, but all the way up till E6, Sumero's better. E6 Cyrene is just like disgustingly overpowered. This is the best E6 character in the game. I mean, that's just reality. Like, you have a Robin ult in there. You have 20% defense shred. You have 48% true damage. A DDD in there as well. You just get extremely free damage off of her freaking ult to egos. It's just there's a lot going on here. This is very, very, very broken. So E6 to E6 Sumero, I think, loses. But on a cost-by-cost basis, Sumero is the best amplifier in the game. If you're talking about the best amplifier in this totality, is Cyrene. If you drop $2,000 to get her E6. Because this E6 is broken. But the majority of people aren't going for this. So that's the reason why I say Sumero is the best in the game right now. There's not enough money in the world that would convince me to go for E6 on this character. I love Cyrene, biggest Cyrene glazer. I would never go for E6 on any character. My peak, the cap for me on any character is E2. You're never going to see anything beyond E2 that I've actually spent money on. Like, if I end up with an E6 Robin on my account, that would be only because I got I had some extra stuff that I could throw at her for free. But I would never actually spend money intentionally to get the E6. So, yeah. I mean, there's no one better than Sumero. This weird narrative that it's like, it kind of depends what your account looks like for you to decide whether or not you're going to pull for Sumero is kind of bullshit. I mean, Sumero, and this is the exact same thing that Waveman said. Wave basically said that this is the funniest shit to me ever is I made my post about Sumero and why I thought she was valuable. Then Waveman made his video, and that's the reason why I shared it. And I shared it because he literally came to the exact same conclusions that I came to. Like, but he dropped his video after. But of course, he had already made his video before I made my post. He was just in the process of doing revisions and editing. And then he had uploaded his video after I made my post. We basically said the exact same thing. Like, Sumero is literally the closest thing to a must pull of must pulls in the game. She's the closest thing. Everything else that anyone has said is a must pull, including me, feels like a complete fake out. Like, Cyrene, fake out. Moranax Blade, fake out. Yao Guang for Elation, fake out. Maybe not so much, but you get my point. Like, everything feels like a fake out compared to this Sumero. Like, she's so unfathomably overpowered. It's ridiculous, man. She genuinely is that broken. There's a reason I'm getting her E2. So like that's the reason why I just thought it was funny. That's the reason why I shared Wave Man's video. We came to the exact same conclusion. The only thing that we disagreed on was at the very end of the video where he said that he thought that for adventuring Wave Flare, he thought that what did he say? He said that Ashvale was going to be better for Wave Flare than Morton X Blade, and I disagree with that. I think that if you're going to be like hyper carry Wave Flare, you're going to want to use Morton X Blade and Sumeru. That's what I would use. I don't care about Ashvale. I think Ashvale is, to be real, I think he's a fake out. If they had never nerfed him the way they nerfed him, I'd be bullish on him. But I'm very, 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 very concerned about them effectively. I'm afraid of them Nova flaring this Topaz and Numby, guys. If they Nova flare this Topaz and Numby, it does. She literally. I'm just being clear. She does not have to do the level of damage that Asheville does. She doesn't. All she has to do is provide equivalent or better debuffing capabilities, and Asheville becomes irrelevant almost immediately. That's what concerns me. Just one Nova Flare, and she's going to be free. Because his debuffing capabilities are very mid. All he has really is a defense shred and a little bit of follow-up damage, but the follow-up damage is not special, and the defense shred is not special either. So if they just replicate that and put that in this Topaz and Numby for free, it's like, what the fuck did you pull Asheville for? Because Asheville is not a better debuffer than Blade, and you can also use Blade as a main DPS if you really wanted to. So if they were to turn around and Nova Flare this Topaz and Numby and provide equivalent debuffs or better than Asheville, I mean, he's basically dead in the water. It's very hard to justify him past that point. And I think they might do that. Not like they may not make her exactly as good as Asheville, but if you make her close enough, again, she's in the store and she's free. So even though Asheville might be better, if you just wait it out and wait for the Topaz and Numby, you can still run your adventuring Wave Flare with Morton X Blade, and you'll be better. Like, let's be real. Like, you're going to pull the Morton X Blade for your follow-up team. So your third slot is going to be Asheville or Sumeru. Who are you pulling? Logically, you're pulling Sumeru because she has better overall account value. And then later on, when Topaz and Numby gets Nova flared, that's your third slot. It doesn't matter that she's not as good as Asheville. It's more cost effective. That's what it boils down to. It depends. It literally boils down to what is more cost effective, Asheville or getting a free Topaz and Numby that's Nova flared in the store. Asheville can be better. That's cool, but you just have to ask the question: who? Like, I give you 4 characters. You tell me who has the highest value. You got Adventuring Wave Flare, you got Morton X Blade, you got Asheville, and you have Sumeru. 4 characters. You can only pick 3. You're not going to pull all 4 unless you're spending money. If you only had to pick 3, if you're a logical person, you pick Adventuring Wave Flare, you pick Morton X Blade, and you pick Sumeru. Because Morton X Blade, all 3 have better vertical than Asheville. Adventuring Wave Flare has better DPS capability than Asheville. Morton X Blade has better buffing and debuffing capabilities over Asheville while being able to put out decent damage. And then Sumeru is better for account value. You can't argue, like, you genuinely, like, unless you're just, like, you're all in and you don't believe that this Nova Flare is going to come to be, I don't understand why they did Asheville the way they did them.
where they made him kind of replaceable. In the same way they made Tribby replaceable in that comp. It just doesn't make sense. Wave Flare as a main DPS, and even like again, Wave Man said the same thing. He is the best Elation DPS in the game. And by extension, he's the best follow-up DPS in the game. Ashvale is not close. So then you have to, again, Mornax Blade between Ashvale, who's better between the two, is Mornax Blade. Who's better between Sumeru and Ashvale? The answer is Sumeru. So you literally just be better off skipping Ashvale, not doubling down on him, wait for a Topaz and Nami Nova Flare, because they didn't just add this character into the store for no goddamn reason. They're probably going to Nova Flare. And if they Nova Flare her, then, I mean, that's it. We've already seen, there's no like, oh, there's no precedence for this. We already have the precedence. We have 2 Nova Flare characters in the store, Ho-Ho and Wo. And they gave away Ho-Ho for free. So on the next time they do a giveaway for one of these, it's probably going to be around the time that Topaz and Nami is getting Nova Flare. And at that point, everybody who owns Ashvale is going to be like, why the hell did I pull for Ashvale when I could have got Sumeru? Or I could have got Eidolons on Mornax Blade. Or I could have got Eidolons on Waven. I'm not crazy. Like I know how this shit plays out. People think I'm crazy until the shit plays out exactly how I said. And then there's just confusion. And they're like, wait, I swear that somebody said that. Yeah, that somebody was me. Yeah, right now, I would say that, to be honest, you could make a very strong argument for Waven to being the best Elation DPS in the game. And the specific reason why you would say that Adventuring Waveflare is the best Elation DPS in the game is because he's not reliant on Elation. That's why he's the best. If you look at Silverwolf and you look at Evanesha, both are reliant on who? Yao Guang. Do you know who doesn't need Yao Guang? Adventuring Waveflare. That's why he's the best. You haven't heard anything about Waveflare because nobody cares about him. He's a male character, and he's coming alongside the most broken amplifier of all time. But that doesn't mean he's not good. He's really fucking good. If he was a hunt character, he'd be the best hunt character of all time. He's legitimately that strong. He is insanely overpowered. You get him E1, S1, like that alone is going to be dominating everything for the next year if you had the right pieces around him. Because, and again, the reason is simple. He doesn't require, he's not reliant on any given support. He doesn't need Mornax Blade. He does not need Astro. He doesn't need Yao Guang either. You can run him however you want. He is insanely strong. The only reason why I'm not pulling for him is because I don't want to. I already have Evanesha. I'm building around Evanesha. Why would I go into Evanesha then also build him? Like, it just doesn't make sense. But trust me, if I didn't own Evanesha already, like let's say, for example, I got unlucky and I was unable to get Evanesha, and I saw this Adventuring Waveflare, I'd be getting Adventuring Waveflare. He's nuts. And if you get him E2, he's you're cleaning up. Exactly. There's no, like, when you have a character that is not reliant on any one support in order to function, those are usually the best characters in the game. Not always, I want to be clear. That's not always the case. Like, characters like Finon, I mean, Finon sucks. Like, I'm just keeping it a buck with you. I don't have any personal beef with Finon, but his kit is terrible for the specific reason that you you literally have to kick your teammates off the field. If it wasn't for that, he'd be a better character. But that's the reason why Himeno is better than he is. Himeno is better because she doesn't kick her teammates off the field. So you're getting full functionality from Cerebro. You get full functionality from Sumero. And I know people are like, I'm going to put Sumero on my Finon team. It doesn't matter what you give Finon. You can give him whatever you want. But at the end of the day, the dude is never going to be able to fully utilize the full potential of literally any support he ever uses. Ever. It's simply not possible. Because he kicks his teammates off the field. You want to take advantage of DDD off of Cerebro? Can't do it while he's in the state. You want to take advantage of Sirene's DPS while he's in his alt state? Can't take advantage of that either. You want to take advantage of Sumero sub DPS and action advancing while he's in his ult? Can't take advantage of that either. Reason why he sucks. And he's going to remain shitty until they change that part of his kit. And they could have fixed that very easily if they just made it so that when Sirene is on the team with him and provides him buffs, just make it so he doesn't kick his teammates off the field. That's it. Just that one change will make him a better character. One change. I don't like shitting on Finon. I don't have any beef against the dude, but he sucks. I don't know why they made his kit that way. It's terrible. It's just like they did everything they possibly could to kneecap his kit for the sake of being cool. Just bad character design, bad kit design. There's a reason why I pull Himeno instead. Like, well, Himeno is insane because I get to do the exact same things that freaking Finon does, but without kicking my teammates off. That's ridiculous. Of course it's going to be better. It's unfortunate, man. All they had to do, literally all they have to do, if they, down the line, if they decide they're going to Nova Flare him or Nova Flare Sirene, I don't care who, just make it so that he doesn't kick his teammates off the field. If you do that, he's legitimately good the instant you do that. Until then, he sucks. Because basically you're forced to get his E2, and if you don't have his E2, then he sucks. You're not gonna be able to fix it with an E2 Sirene. You're not gonna be able to fix it with an E2 Sumo. You gotta have his E2 first, and then everybody else is an afterthought after that. He's one of the few DPS in the game where you literally are basically forced to get his E2, or he's trash. And I don't fuck with that at all. So, of all the characters right now that I'm very bearish on, I'm bearish on the existence of Finon, obviously. No beef against him. This kid is just bad. Very bearish on Asheville because from a cost and value perspective, he's not beyond Adventuring Wave Flare. He's not beyond Sumero. He's not beyond Moranax Blade. So if they know if Flare to Topaz and Numby, I'm telling you, people are going to immediately start questioning, why the hell did I pull this Astro for? What'd I do it for? And the crazy part is, Topaz and Numby might unironically be more synergistic. It may not do as much damage. It may not provide as much amplification, but it might be so damn synergistic with Waven and Moranax Blade that nobody's going to care. Because that's effectively what happened, like I said, with Fei Xiao. The original Fei Xiao team, the premium team, was Fei Xiao, Topaz and Numby, Aventurine, and Robin. But people took Aventurine off the team and Topaz and Numby because you could use Imaginary March 7th with a flex slot, and that was literally more synergistic than this. But if they buffed Topaz and Numby, and allow her and improve her synergy with the follow-up archetype, it doesn't matter if Ashvale does more damage or if he provides better amplification. The units that have the best synergies are the ones that allows a DPS to unlock the maximum of his potential. Just throwing big numbers at shit does not help you. If you keep running into bottlenecks like Ashville does, and this is something that also Wade Man talked about. He runs into bottlenecks with energy. You keep running into energy bottlenecks, you're gonna get irritated by it, inevitably. What if she doesn't have that problem? Well, if that bottleneck doesn't exist with Topaz and Numby, she's just an energy alt spamming machine. So he can't. So there's a thing. He can take advantage of action advancers, but that's specifically if you're going to be using him as a main DPS. If you're going to be used, so this is the problem that I have with Ashville. As a main DPS, he's pretty good, but you have to put all your effort into making him a good main DPS. The instant you put him in sub DPS category, he becomes very questionable because you're not funneling all your resources towards him, which means he runs in the bottlenecks with energy. So you're like, oh, well, I'm going to use him as sub DPS for Waven. You can do that, but you're going to run into energy bottlenecks, inevitably. All they have to do is make it so that Topaz and Numby has a better energy economy while having similar amplification to Asheville, and people are going to be using her over Asheville. That's it. That's all it's going to boil down to. Nobody's going to give a fuck about his multipliers. Nobody's going to care about his debuffs. Synergy runs everything. That's the reason why, despite the fact that people keep talking shit about Monorim, is still at the highest cost levels, is still the most synergistic team in the game. It literally does not matter if another team comes out that has better numbers than it. It's the most synergistic team in the game. They loop into each other so hard that any differences in damage percentage and just stuff on paper becomes irrelevant when you have that level of synergy. Synergy is what runs comps. It what make or breaks comps. You can't just rely on what's in front of you on paper. This is the reason why I get irritated when I'm listening to theory crafters and they're just relying on, oh, I'm going to rely on my spreadsheets. Your spreadsheets can only take you so far, bro. You actually have to fucking play the game. But I make my predictions all the time. I predicted when, you guys already know, before Tribute released, I said this character was going to look like shit once Cyrene comes out. People didn't believe me. They thought I was crazy. And then with literally 3 months after Cyrene came out, every single theory crafter changed their tune and said, yes, Cyrene's better than Tribute. That's all it took. It was 3 months. That was it. Within a year, Tribute went from being the most universal amplifier in the entire game to she got relegated to niche within 9 months. That's the reason why people are like, oh, well, she lasted for a year and a half. Fuck off. Like, no, she didn't. She got reduced to niche within 9 months. I saw it happen. She was being run on every team and slowly got phased out of fucking everything. Everything. All of her favorite teams phased out. One by 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 one. So when you take a character that's even more hardline focused, who doesn't have the universality that Mornax Blade has or Sumero has, or even Waven himself, he literally has to stay within follow-up, or he has to be stuck with Mornax Blade or Waven. But those two units don't need him. They don't need Asheville at all. But he needs them. Anytime you're in a scenario where a character needs a specific support in order to function, and they have no sort of versatility whatsoever outside of those singular supports, that character is going. I'm telling you now that all it takes is one character to release, one character that has better synergy within his own positioning, and he's gone. He's booted off the team. People today still say Cyrene is worse than Tribute. Of course, if you listen to any theory crafter that knows what they're talking about, nobody would say that. Every single theory crafter in the game will tell you that Cyrene is better than Tribute. Every single one. And those same theory crafters before thought that Cyrene wasn't going to age as well as Tribute, and they all turned around and said we were wrong. So if you keep doubling, like anyone who doubles down on it now and says that Tribute is better than Cyrene is literally just lying. Nobody who's a credible source is going to back you up. Nobody. Not a single solitary person. So I think basically effectively what happened to Tribute is going to happen to Asheville. I think that once you get a better option or a more free-to-play cost-to-cost option in Topaz and Numby, if she gets Noble Flared, I mean, that's it. That's wraps. His value is going to collapse in on itself. And it becomes even, and by the way, it becomes even worse if you have an E4 Welt. If you have an E4 Welt, you definitely have no reason to keep using Asheville. If you have an E4 Welt, like, fuck do you need Asheville? You can just run Waven, Mornax Blade, E4 Welt. What do you even need Asheville for at that point? Because your Mornax Blade and your Waven will will just be deleting everything, regardless of whether or not Asheville's on the team or not. So yeah, I'm bearish on Asheville. I don't particularly trust him. Just being real. So, if people want to keep being stupid, and run their mouths about Cyrene, I mean, if that's what you want to do, I mean, do what you got to do. Like I said, I'm not like, if you want to unironically be a Cyrene doomer in 2026, like if that's your prerogative, what you want to do, I'm not arguing with anybody about it anymore. I'm just not. Because I know I'm right. The theory crafters know I'm right. The guide makers know I'm right. I think Asheville is extremely overrated. I think that once he got nerfed the way that he got nerfed in beta, that I was right to downgrade his value. I thought that he was going to be tier 0 as a DPS and maybe a T0.5 as a sub DPS. But then they nerfed him, so I swapped my position on him. I put him at like tier 0.5 for both main and sub. Because you nerfed his damage potential. If they didn't nerf his damage potential and also nerf his energy economy, then it doesn't matter how good Topaz is. She would just be a worse version of Asheville. But because you nerfed his damage and you nerfed his energy economy, well, now if she has better energy economy, it doesn't matter if she does as much damage. The team is going to loop harder into itself. You run into no bottlenecks, no energy bottlenecks, zero, zilch, nada. The team will just keep looping on itself. So you'll have Adventuring Wave Flare, you'll have Mornax Blade, Topaz and Numby, and Pearl. That team will keep looping in on itself. And you'll probably be able to do it at E0 Topaz and Numby as opposed to having to get like a E1 or E2 Asheville. It's just going to be more cost effective. They shouldn't have. If they just hadn't cooked his freaking his energy economy, hadn't cooked his damage, I would not be saying this. I don't just say shit to say shit. Sometimes I shoot from the hip and I'm wrong, and I'll say I'm wrong. Do it all the time. I'm not 100% on my predictions. Not gonna pretend like I am. I'm pretty confident with my whole chest that Topaz and Numby is going to get Nova Flared towards the end of the version. They're going to give us another token for free so that you can grab her if you want to. And at that point, I mean, again, it's going to be more cost effective for you to go into Topaz and Numby than for you to keep doubling down on Asheville even if his raw amplification and raw damage is better. Because what, you have to go to what, like E2 in order to get rid of those energy issues, get rid of the bottleneck. Let me see. So E1 just says that you know, everybody takes more damage. Yeah, that's your problem. E2 is the only thing that fixes the energy economy because it refunds part of your gluttony stats. That's it. That's your resolution, is the E2. So if they basically just make Topaz and Numby be able to energy funnel without having to do all this bullshit, what reason exactly are you going to have to justify doubling down on this character? This is the E2 is how you solve the energy bottleneck. If you didn't do that, like, you're going to run into issues. But if Topaz and Numby, like I said, if she's in a position when she gets Nova Flare where she has basically no energy issues, she runs into no bottleneck, that's going to be the better cost-effective option. It really is that simple. It has nothing to do with how I feel about Asheville. I don't have any reason to hate on this character. I don't have any beef with this dude. I'm not just spreading a narrative. I'm just telling you reality. This is literally exactly what happened with Fei Xiao. Topaz and Numby was supposed to be Fei Xiao's premium support. I didn't pull her because she was less synergistic with Fei Xiao than a free imaginary Mark 7. And the entirety of the community agreed, dropped Topaz and Numby and started using imaginary Mark 7 because she was more synergistic and had allowed Fei Xiao to get more stacks than Topaz and Numby. It did not matter that the buffs were worse or that Mark 7's her buffs were worse. Sorry. It just didn't matter. She had better synergy, and that's all it boiled down to. If the character is free and has better synergy than what exists in the game, people are going to automatically gravitate towards that. I don't need to make up fairy tales about it because it literally already happened. People were literally using March 7th and Moe's over Topaz and Numby. That's why she's irrelevant right now. And then when they dropped Asheville, that was basically the final blow. But then you have to ask yourself, why the fuck would they go out of their way to add Topaz and Numby to the store, last version, and then not Nova Flare? What would be the point? It's very clear. They're gonna make some adjustments. That she's not going to be bad forever. It's just not gonna happen. They're clearly aiming towards an IPC centered team, and that IPC centered team is most likely going to have your Waven, your Pearl, your Topaz and Numby, and maybe they buff Jade as well at the same time, so that you can run a full IPC team. I don't know, but we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. Like I said, doesn't matter how you particularly feel about Asheville or how I feel. I'm just giving you history lessons. I warned people already. People don't listen. I give history lessons. I've been here since the game came out. What did I say about Trivy? I said characters that have her sort of the things that people were glazing her about, those sort of characteristics, those characters always fall out of contention significantly faster than units that have characters that have these abilities, talents, those sort of things that cannot be easily replicated. Everything that Trivy has is easily replicated. That's the reason why Sumero basically does everything she does, but better. It was easier to replicate. What Asheville is doing is not hard to replicate. The only thing that would be hard to replicate is being able to clear out mobs a little bit easier because you can focus on one mob, kill, then move on to the next one. But will that actually matter when you have Adventuring Wave Flare and you have your Mornax Blade effectively deleting the entire field anyway? What difference does it make? At that point, you have a hunt character with no hunt weaknesses, a whole hunt team with no hunt weaknesses. It won't matter. So, like I said, we'll see if my take ages like milk. I don't think it is, though. I really don't. I pay attention to patterns. I pay attention to history. I don't just make shit up. But we'll see. I could be wrong. I don't have no 100% track record, but I wouldn't be saying all this shit unless I actually believed it. I don't have any reason to lie. I'm not doing this shit for clout. I'm retired. I don't get any views on my channel anymore because I killed my channel intentionally. So I can talk freely and say what I want, however I want to say it. And if people care, they care. If they don't, they don't. It don't make a difference to me anymore. There's only so many times where you try to guide people towards water. You can't make motherfuckers drink. You can't. I was trying to tell when everybody was shitting on Cyrene, all the theory crafters, the guide makers, they were shitting on Cyrene. I was one of the few content creators that spoke out against that shit and said you guys are all wrong. And who ended up being correct? Me. When people were all blazing Tribune and saying she was one of the greatest things of all time before she even came out, who said that she was going to get power crept faster than any other universal amplifier that came before her? That was me. And I was right. Not right about everything. But my track record, I'm right more often than I'm wrong. But yeah, well, that's it for me. Like I said, you don't have to believe me if you don't want to. I've made my case. Again, you just have to think about this. Cost some costs. Take your feelings out of it. If you're running a Waven team, Waven, who is the best Elation character in the game, he's basically a pseudo hunt. So we'll say he's the best hunt character in the game. Who are you running with him? Would you rather run him with Sumero and Moranax Blade and Pearl? And then if you want to use your Sumero later on another team, you can just get a free Topaz and Numbi. Or do you have to? Or are you going to double down, go for an E2 Asriel just so that you have a purely synergistic team where you just get an E0 Topaz and Numbi or an E1 Topaz and Numbi, which is equally synergistic, no bottleneck, and cook off that. That's the reason why I could not heavily recommend him when he came out. I said they cooked his, they fucked with his energy, and they fucked with his damage. They set him up. If they allowed Moranax Blade to be broken, they could have allowed him to be broken, but for some reason they chose not to do that. That should have been a warning sign. Why allow Moranax Blade to be broken, but then cook him specifically? They didn't cook Aventurine Waveflare. Waveflare is broken. Moranax Blade is broken. So the only person who's not broken in this comp is Ashfield. He's the only one that's balanced. And he only becomes truly broken when you fully invest into him when you get him to E2. Everyone else is broken at base. I'm just giving you reality. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am. That's it. I gotta go eat. I'm out here. Have a good night.